Imagine someone corners you on the street and snatches a $20 bill out of your wallet. You'd call the police. It's a clear-cut crime. But if your boss shorts your paycheck by that exact same $20, the reaction is usually silence. That silence is exactly how wage theft works. It rarely happens as a massive, obvious heist. It happens in drips. A 15-minute early clock out here, an unpaid working lunch there. These fractions of an hour vanish from your paycheck so quietly that you might not even notice. This animated diagram shows what happens when those tiny stolen minutes pool together across the country. They accumulate into a massive deficit. Every year, billions of dollars are actively siphoned out of the pockets of the American working class. New 2026 legal shifts classify wage theft as a prosecutable crime, giving regulators the power to pursue criminal penalties and jail time for payroll fraud. But those powerful new protections only work if you know you are being victimized. To spot the theft, we need to break down the 5 ways employers steal from workers. We'll start with the most common method, manipulating your time. Type 1 is unpaid overtime. By law, working more than 40 hours in a single week entitles you to time-and-a-half pay for extra hours. This scale illustrates a critical technical amendment to the Fair Labor Standards Act, restored by the Department of Labor in 2026, or $35,568 a year. Generally, if you make less than this threshold, you are legally owed overtime pay, regardless of what your job title is. A common exploit occurs when an employer gives a low-wage worker a title like assistant manager and puts them on a fixed salary, but keeps their pay below that $684 line. If that worker pushes past 40 hours and doesn't get time and a half, the employer is breaking the law. Type 2 is off-the-clock work, like answering work emails from home, prepping your station before your shift, or cleaning up after clocking out. Type 3 covers break violations, particularly the automatic lunch deduction trap. This happens when the payroll software automatically docks an hour for lunch every shift, even if you spent that entire hour working through the rush. Time manipulation functions as a calculated structural strategy, systematically extracting free labor by forcing workers to sacrifice minutes that never appear on a pay stub. Type 4 shifts the focus from time to classification, starting with tip theft. This occurs when managers or business owners illegally dip into the staff tip pool to subsidize their own overhead costs. The legal definition of tip ownership is strict. In 2026, the new tax deductions under the OBBA solidified these boundaries, making it explicitly clear that tips belong entirely to the workers who earned them, not the house. Type 5 is misclassification. This is the classic independent contractor fake-out, where an employer labels a regular, full-time employee as a freelancer or contractor, specifically to avoid paying minimum wage, overtime, and benefits. Regulators are actively cracking down on these evasions. For example, the Department of Labor set strict new wage floors for federal contractors in 2026, mandating a minimum of $13.65 an hour for regular employees and $9.55 for tipped workers. This comparative bar chart shows how outdated minimum wages stack up against the aggressive new thresholds. While federal contracts set one floor, many states are pushing much higher, with California's minimum wage climbing to $16.90 per hour statewide in 2026. A job title or tax classification means absolutely nothing if it is being weaponized as a loophole to bypass the 2026 wage floor. The 2026 legal landscape treats wage theft with severe gravity. Investigators are actively bringing down the gavel on offending employers, but simply knowing your employer robbed you will not win a case. The burden of proof falls to you. You have to build a rock-solid evidence folder. You need 3 specific items. First, save your physical pay stubs. Second, take screenshots of your digital timesheets before they can be altered. And third, keep a strictly maintained personal logbook of the exact hours you work each day. The biggest hurdle to speaking up is the fear of retaliation. Workers worry that if they complain about a missing $50, they will be demoted, get their shifts cut, or be fired entirely. State and federal labor laws contain specific anti-retaliation provisions. These rules act as a legal shield, designed to fiercely protect and financially compensate workers who face punishment for reporting wage violations. You traded your time for that money. It legally belongs to you. And with the right evidence, you now have the exact legal framework to take it back.